Living things and their environment. Living things. There are 5 types of living things. They are similar, but not the same. Animals, plants, algae, fungi, and bacteria. We have animals, plants, algae, fungi, bacteria. All living things have a habitat. It is where a living thing lives. Adaptation. Each species has changed to their environment's requirements to live and reproduce successfully. What is different about this polar bear compared to a regular bear in Spain that makes it suitable and able to live in the Arctic? What happened with this lizard that allows it to live amongst these leaves without being harmed? Elements of an ecosystem. There are 5 elements: producers, consumers, which have primary consumers, herbivores, secondary consumers, carnivores, tertiary consumers, carnivores that eat carnivores, scavengers, decomposers. Producers. Producers are living things that make their own food, such as plants and algae. They use the sun and the minerals around them to grow. Consumers. Primary consumers are herbivores. They feed on producers, plants and algae. For example, a rabbit or horses. Secondary consumers are carnivores. They feed on primary consumers, such as a fox eats the rabbit. Tertiary consumers, carnivores that feed on secondary consumers, such as the eagle that eats the fox. Scavengers. Scavengers. A scavenger feeds on the remains of dead animals. They do not hunt for their food. They wait until it is dead and then they eat. For example, these vultures are eating a carcass, or this hyena is eating a carcass as well. Decomposers. Decomposers are microorganisms and fungi that break down dead animal and plant materials, such as worms and mushrooms. The food chain. A food chain is a map that shows who eats who or who eats what. For example, this is a food chain map. We have the giraffe eats the plants, or the rhino eats plants, and the lion eats the giraffe or the rhino. Or the mouse eats the plants, or the grasshopper eats the plants. The bird eats the grasshopper. The skunk eats the bird, and the vulture eats the skunk. This bobcat or lynx eats the mouse, which eats the plants. This is another example of a food chain. For example, the rat eats the corn and the owl eats the rat. Or the rabbit eats the carrots The fox eats the rabbit. The lion eats the fox. Or the grasshopper eats the grass. The frog eats the grasshopper. The python eats the frog. And the eagle eats the python. Hmm. Can you think of a new food chain? Use this as an example